What's up, guys? Obviously, it's Captain Obvious, and welcome to Battlefield 3 Expanded Analysis. In this episode, we'll be covering the March patch changes, and this is part 2, going over vehicle fixes that DICE is adding into the game. So, without further ado, let's get started. Alright guys, now we got a huge list of patch updates for the vehicles of Battlefield 3. There's a lot of stuff to go through in this kind of section of the update, but I'm only going to focus on the ones I feel the most important. I'm going to talk about the ones that are most important, but I'm going to say each and everything so you guys know exactly what it's going to be, and it'll be on the screen for your guys' convenience. Alright, so the first thing we got is the A10 properly gives jet score again. Unguided tank rounds and RPGs now instantly destroy jets, helicopters, and scout helicopters. Increase the damage the main battle tank's primary weapon does to the front and side armor of other main battle tanks. Primarily, this means one less shot to the front, and very good hits to the side can result in a one-hit disable. That is awesome. Slightly reduce the repair speed of the repair tool. Increase the damage done by the tow weapons to armored vehicles. Increased fire rate and minimum damage of the coaxial heavy machine gun. In the past, the thing fired extremely slowly. Now they're upping it to make it a little bit more powerful. Increase the damage mounted gun or 50 heavy machine gun on long range. Oh god, that's awful. If you guys don't know, people like to snipe in tank turrets with the machine gun, which is this is going to increase their capabilities of doing that. So I don't know why they're doing it. Increase the power of the repair tool when killing soldiers or destroying vehicles slightly. It used to take a whole lot of time to destroy a vehicle with this repair tool. I think it was like 7 or 8 seconds. Now they're increasing that significantly to make it a whole lot easier. Fix the problem when locking onto 2 nearby targets. The locking should no longer jump rapidly between the multiple targets. This applies to all locking weapons and laser designators. Increase the damage of the javelin and air-to-ground missiles against laser-designated targets. Javelin missiles fired without laser targeting now do more damage to the side and the rear of main battle tanks. Slightly reduce the locking time of all weapons versus laser designated targets. Laser guided missiles will now be distracted by flares. In the past, all laser guided weapons, that means like are locked on via the laser pointer or the SOFLAM, did not get affected by flares. Now they will be, which is awesome. Increase the locking distance for AGM missiles for jets when locking on laser-designated targets. Reduce the locking time for the AGM missiles for jets to make them more viable against ground targets. Reduce the locking time for AA missiles for jets to make them more viable against air targets. Flares will no longer break the lock of a vehicle that is locked on. It will only distract the missiles. Flares now more reliably distract missiles, especially for helicopters. Flares for jets and choppers now reload at 11 seconds again, except for the gunner, which remains at an unchanged 20 seconds. AA missiles are now more difficult to dodge in jets. This was unintended behavior that created an imbalance against skilled pilots. AA missiles should no longer kill the pilot instead of the vehicle. This is something big. In the past, when, using a anti-air missile, sometimes it'll kill the pilot of the vehicle and not kill the vehicle, and then you pretty much get an unfair death if you're driving that vehicle, which sucks a lot. I'm happy they're patching this because in the past, if you're flying like a scout helicopter over an enemy and they shoot an RPG at you, it will not kill the helicopter. Well, now it will since the patch has been changed. But in reality, what it's going to do is it would kill you and not the helicopter. So luckily they're changing this to make it a whole lot easier for you to, avoid rocket launcher shots, and you won't have to worry about them as much. AA missiles should no longer detonate before hitting their target or a flare/ECM shaft cloud. I've experienced this in the past. The flares system has been broken a little bit in the past, but it looks like they're changing a lot of things related to flares in this patch. They also reduced the damage of AA missiles due to jets by 45%, which now, the next set of patches is fix the Su-35 firing air-to-air missiles, at a lower rate of fire than other vehicles. The IGLA and Stinger now lock on much more quickly and disable and attack aircraft in one hit, but have significantly reduced range. This should allow Stingers to mount an effective close-range point defense without dominating an entire airspace. Yes. Increase the speed of the helicopter AA missiles lock on to reduce the tedious nature of helicopter dogfights and improve the helicopter's defensive ability versus jets. Slightly reduce the damage of jet cannons against aircraft. Damage is now only slightly higher than it was originally at launch. So apparently they changed that in a past update, and now they're changing it back. Increase the RPG and small damage against aircraft. Guided rockets will now only track ground targets as originally intended. Reduce the direct damage done by attack helicopter gunners versus armor. That's awesome because the primary gunner gun on a attack helicopter is 30 millimeters, and in reality that would not damage a tank as much as it does. Helicopter guns now suppress correctly. Improve the accuracy of the helicopter's rocket pods, both guided and unguided. Slightly increase the damage of attack helicopters' rocket pods versus infantry and other helicopters. Additional fixes have been made to the TV missile to prevent it from blowing up the launching vehicle. Oh my god, never experienced that before. The Mi-28 has received upgrades to its climbing and yawing abilities. That is the Russian attack helicopter. Fix an issue where guided rockets from the Mi-28 did not follow the crosshair properly. Improve the accuracy of the Mi-28 gun to match the AH-1 gun. So apparently the Russian helicopter has been really bad in the past. So let's see how these changes go through and if it actually improves how the vehicle works. Increase the damage of the APFSDS rounds for the IFVs. If you don't know what that is, those are the rounds that the IFVs fire that have no splash damage, but they do a whole lot more damage if you get direct hits. So that damage is being increased. Decrease the locking time of the IFV guided missiles to make it more viable as an unlock. Miniguns and helicopter gunners now destroy parked cars quicker. Increase the power of explosions from cars and other explosive static objects. Dying from the explosion of a car or other explosive static objects should now correctly credit the player who caused the explosion. Adjust the F-35 center of mass and hover engine for more stable, level flight in all flight modes. Updated the F-35 weapon system to be more consistent with the other jets. That's a balancing issue, which is awesome that they're changing that. The F-35 will now only attempt to enter hover at low altitudes, though it will be maintained at hover until forward flight is resumed, even if after it reaches high altitude. F-35 and the Su-35 now properly have ejection seats to prevent players from being killed while exiting the vehicle. Change the coordinates to tow launchers on Wake Island and move the spawn position of the AAV to a more level position. Fixed several bugs with air vehicles colliding with objects at high speeds and taking no damage. Players will now no longer receive suicides or team kills if they crash their vehicle. Dying is punishment enough. The MAV will no longer destroy vehicles that run into it. Instead, it should be destroyed itself. The MAV, I don't think it was ever a problem with it destroying vehicles, but they have changed the MAV so it can't kill enemies anymore. More than one, that is. Jet and helicopter collisions should now promptly result in the death of both vehicles. You can now spot with the EOD bot. Increase the base accuracy for AA guns and added the decrease in accuracy over the course of a burst. That's going to significantly debuff the AA tank. So now it's less effective versus both air vehicles and infantry alike. Reduce the damage AA guns do to infantry, which is awesome. The carrier-based C-RAM stations now properly track the stationary weapons. That was in the general gameplay fixes, but it's mentioned here as well. The C-RAM and Panzer stationary AA weapons now have air radar equipped by default. That is going to increase the effectiveness of these weapons a whole lot more, which is pretty cool. Increase the sound feedback for damage to help players better understand the amount of damage their vehicle is taking. The A-10's extinguisher should now function properly. Disabled vehicles now have an increased reverse speed to help escape to cover after being disabled. The T-90's crosshair now accurately represents the trajectory of the main gun. Toggle and hold zoom settings now also apply to soldier-controlled turrets on jeeps, transport helicopters, boats, and IFV port guns. The AAV now has a zoom and a third-person camera when using the turret. Tweak the AAV's turret control to be more useful when the vehicle is moving. The Z-11W now properly functions with below radar. Below radar would now properly prevent the lock-on of a Stinger and IGLA missiles. They added horns to all of the Jeeps in this game, which is going to make it a lot more fun, because now you can honk at people who are pissing you off. Tanks can no longer drive into the water and cross the Wake Island Lagoon completely submerged. I have never seen that in the past, but that seems like a big problem. That is it for all the vehicle changes they are adding into this game. There's an impressive list of things they are making different about the game. That is pretty awesome. Now, the ones I want to specify the most are the nerfs to the AA vehicles and the buffs to the helicopters, because in the past, helicopters haven't been really too effective versus certain kinds of guys. So now both the AA things have been debuffed and the helicopters have been buffed, so that kind of makes air vehicles a whole lot more powerful than they have been in the past. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to check me out on Twitter and Facebook. The links are down in the description. And as always, rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.